In today's video, we're going to talk about areas where you should be living in Malta and areas where you should be working in Malta. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. It's Alex here. I am so happy to finally change the background scenery. From seeing my kitchen in the past 50 videos, it's time for you to see some beautiful Maltese background. I'm currently in Gozo, and I think I might even do a dedicated video about this farmhouse where I'm staying at the moment. However, in today's video, we are dedicating a topic related to areas where you should be living and working in Malta, and this came out as an idea after me posting the previous video, which was showing you guys the area where I used to live versus the area where I live right now, from the city life to the countryside. And these have brought so many questions from you guys saying, Alex, give us more in-depth about areas where we should be living if you would like to have more quiet places, areas where we should be living if you would like to easily find work and walk to work. So here is the video, guys. Let's begin. Now I want you to know that I'm gonna split this video into central part of Malta, north part of Malta and south part of Malta. And for the three different areas, I will be telling you cities and places where you should be living and easily finding work. Now let's start with the central part of Malta. When I say central, I'm referring to Valletta, the capital city of Malta, St Julians and Sliema. These are like the top three areas where you can easily find work and at the same time apartments. Valletta is the capital city of Malta, as I already mentioned, where you can find work into the catering industry and also into the hospitality industry. When it comes to Valletta, it's a beautiful city where you can find work very easy, but it's not the city where you should be looking for an apartment. Some people, when they talk about capital cities, they think that if you're moving to Malta, you need to move to Valletta. No. Now, in case you are finding yourself working in Valletta, I will more likely tell you to look for an apartment in these following areas: Pieta, Hamrun, Marsa, Qormi and Santa Venera. In these areas, you can find something that is more affordable, and of course you will find some super expensive and luxurious apartment as well, and the rents, they can start somewhere from 600 euros up to 3000 euros, depending on the quality and of course the size of the apartment. Now, when it comes to these areas, they all have connections towards Valletta. Some of them are on a 5-10 minutes drive, some of them are on a 15 minutes drive. And it also depends on the traffic. And now if you are someone who would like to walk, Pieta, Hamrun and Marsa are the ones that are very close to Valletta on a walking distance. Now moving on from Valletta, we are going to Sliema and St Julians. I'm gonna take both of them together. Sliema and St Julians are the areas where you will find the majority of the tourists visiting the island over the entire year. Summer or winter, tourists are here. Oh wow, that was... In these areas, you will easily find work when it comes to the hospitality and the catering industry, and as well, the majority of the gaming companies are in these areas. Considering that all the happenings are in these sites, guys, the traffic, the noise, the construction, the pollution, it's evident. You cannot run away from this. Every corner where you're gonna turn, you will find something that it's happening. Either a building is being demolished, or another one is being built at the moment, or another one is just to be completed, or another one is just raising another penthouse on top. It could be anything. And at the same time, you have a lot of traffic as well. However, from the other side, you do have areas in Sliema and in St Julians on the promenade where you can find the most beautiful views if you would like to live in an apartment with a sea view. Especially, I'm gonna take as a point of reference Tinie Point apartments. You cannot even imagine what a beautiful scenery those apartments have. First of all, that's built on top of the edge of Sliema, so there is no more construction that can be done over there. There is not even a road that goes around them, meaning there is no any pollution from the cars. It's right next to the sea, and the view is towards Valletta. It looks majestic. Unfortunately, finding an apartment there to rent, it's quite limited, but they're selling them. However, the prices are over €1,000,000. From the other side, what I have noticed is that a lot of these apartments have been bought and they've been placed on the market as a short lets for tourists. Now, these are the three main points when it comes to the central part of Malta. Of course, there are so many other areas where you should be living in Malta. Please just do your own research, and it's quite easy for those of you guys that you would like to use the public transport. Go on the website of Talinja and you will find all the connections and also the timings and how long would it take you to get from the area where you live towards the area where you are working. And now let's move on to the north part of Malta. Now, when it comes to the north part of Malta, I will take St. Paul's Bay area, including Aura, Bugiba, Melija. These are the areas where you guys can easily find work. You do have offices, you do have restaurants, bars, hotels. Speaking about this, the north part of Malta, especially the Bugiba area, it has, I believe, more non-Maltese living there rather than Maltese. You will find people from every country around the world into these areas, and at the same time, as I mentioned, you will find a lot of work. When it comes to connections, yes, there are bus connections from the north part of Malta towards Sliema and St Julians and towards Valletta as well. There is a beautiful coast road that has been built which connects the central with the north. And when it comes to using the buses, it all depends on the traffic, but I would take like an average. It's around 20 minutes for you to get from the north part of Malta to the central part of Malta. These areas, guys, are slightly cheaper than the central part of Malta. However, I have noticed that there is quite a high increase of the rents there as well. On an overall in 2023, I have noticed that the rent have gone up. I mean, every year the rent is going up in Malta, and we are honestly tired of it, but unfortunately there is so much work, and Malta is still inviting kind of a lot of foreign people to move over here. And considering that there is demand, there is supply as well, and people need to find apartments. However, sometimes it's so degrading when we see that we are being offered an apartment that has the quality of like iPhone 3 for a price of iPhone 14. And of course, we're gonna make fun out of it. This was even on Expats Malta on the Facebook group where I mentioned as a comment and people were laughing out loud. Anyway, I'm gonna move on now towards another area in the north part of Malta, which is kind of like in between the north and the central, which is a city called Mosta. I already did a dedicated video about Mosta, which it's a beautiful city itself. It has the old part and it also has a new part. It's an area where a lot of families are deciding to move to Malta, and it's also an area where a lot of foreign people are living as well. However, I have noticed when I was in Mosta that there is a big traffic jams over there. I don't know for what reason, but there is a lot of traffic in these areas. Or maybe it was just the timings when I used to go there, but it's funny that I've been there during the day and during the night, and it's always with traffic. And now I'm gonna move towards the south part of Malta, which is going to cover up Marsaskala and Marsaxlokk, Birzebugga, and also Zurrieq and Qrendi. Now, these are all into the south part of Malta, but they're completely different from one to another. Marsaskala and Marsaxlokk are one next to each other, and they're both absolutely amazing. Marsaskala is a beautiful area where people can find easily apartments next to the sea. It's also an area that has a lot of restaurants. For tourists it's good, but also for expats it's wonderful. Marsaxlokk, from the other hand, it's the area where I would say I wouldn't suggest for you guys to move there. It's the fishing village. I would more likely leave it just for the locals and also for the tourists that would like to come and see more of a traditional site. And also there is not much work, or there is not much to do in Marsaxlokk. It's more of like a touristic place. If I have to choose between Marsaskala and Marsaxlokk, 100% I would choose Marsaskala. Now moving on, Birzebugga. Birzebugga, it's a beautiful city, I really like it. It has one of my personal favorite beaches in Malta, which is called Pretty Bay. I also did a dedicated video about it. It's gonna be linked down in the description of this video. Please have a look. This is an area, guys, which is extremely affordable, and at the same time it's by the sea. And as well, it's full with foreign people living over there. And I have noticed that a lot of people from the African countries prefer to live in this area. However, from the other side, it does not have a lot of work opportunities there, but as a scenery, it's quite lovely. And now I'm moving on to the final part of the video, which is Zurrieq and Qrendi. And this is the area where I live. Guys, look at me, look at my face. I love this area. It's so tranquil, it's so clean, and it's so Maltese at the same time. The people that are living there, as I mentioned in my previous video, are so warm. And when I said warm, people were like, what do you mean by warm? I mean empathic. you can see it in their eyes that they're nice people. You can see it in their eyes that they're lovely people. And I don't want to talk much about this, but I would like to get back to why you should be living in an area like this. For those of you that would like to have more of a countryside, more of like peaceful area, relaxing area where you can just like wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee without having any disruption of noises or trucks or construction and stuff like that, these are those beautiful areas. However, in these areas there is not much work. The only place where you can find some work is like local convenience stores, shops and stuff like that, but there is nothing else than that. And of course it's something that gives you a minimum wage. Now, when it comes to living in these areas, guys, something extremely important that I would like to say is that if you wish to go to the central part of Malta, there are no direct buses. You need to change buses in Valletta, which makes it so difficult for those that are going to work in the central part of Malta. You're gonna easily lose an hour in a transport for you to get to the central part. So whoever is planning to move into these areas, I would more likely tell you for you either to get a scooter or get a car. I spoke a lot in this video and I was thinking to make it like 8 to 10 minutes, but I think it's gonna end up between 12 and 15. Anyway, I hope you got quite a lot of information from this video. If there are any further questions, please leave them down in the comment section of this video. As always, if you enjoy watching my videos, please make sure to like them down below. And if you haven't subscribed already, it's free of charge. Click the subscribe button because I check my analytics. 74% of my viewers are not subscribed. And until I see you in my next one, bye!